Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Noah Scher, and today I'm joined by Anastasia Ristovska, the co founder of Books at Ease. Anna brings over a decade of financial leadership experience helping small to middle sized businesses gain the financial clarity that they need to thrive. Anastasia, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here with you today and share my journey. I hope that the listeners will learn something from us today. So
Absolutely.
happy to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have no doubt they will. So I'd love to dive right in. So Anna, you co-founded Books at Ease a few years ago, but your financial career was way before that. So I'd love if you could take us through, your roles across Europe and United States and how you ultimately came to founding your firm.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, my journey was quite long, more than 17 years. So when I go back to that, sometimes it scares me because it means you are getting older, but wiser as well, as people want to say. I've basically my journey started a long time ago. I was working as a corporate accountant in international companies. Most of them were located in US. The HQ was US, but worldwide spread. So I had a different roles. I started as accounting assistant at the very beginning. That was my first job position, and then gradually evolved into finance manager, where I was working for more than 10 years in that positions. During that time, I've learned how to work with larger companies, larger teams. I worked closely with the CEOs, so I was some sort of CFO in some of the companies. In some of them, I was working closely with the CFO. So it was a quite interesting period for me because I was gaining the knowledge, the experience. And I would say for every, I mean, maybe that's not the situation now, but in my time, it was really good experience because as an early graduate, you don't know anything. I mean, you have the knowledge, theoretical knowledge gained from the university, but then you need to go into more practical things. So this was a really great experience for me. After that, after let's say 10 years working in the corporate world, I've opened my first company, my first child. It is Next Generation, and it's based in Europe, basically. So we were working as a back office support for accountants and CPAs from US. Our European center was a back office support for them.
Mhm.
After that, after I realized basically how it works, the process, and all those challenges that most great accounting companies were facing with, I learned that we need to do something regarding the training of the people. So initially, I have started training them for my own company, and Next Generation now evolved into a bookkeeping academy, which is basically working to train international accountants on US accounting principles, communication, software tools, anything that is needed to enter the US market. And that's my first company. Second company is Books at Ease, which I'm now more focused in, and I've opened the company 4 years ago. Books at Ease is accounting practice helping digital businesses to understand their numbers, to make good decisions, and to grow. So we're 90% of our portfolio is focused on digital space. So we are closely working with coaches, digital marketing agencies, SaaS, IT companies, and yeah, that's my journey.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I always love hearing, how people go from working in a corporate job or in a different sector to starting their own. Was there a certain moment for you that made you want to start your firm, or was it kind of just an accumulation of, things over the years?
Yeah, so the moment was when I realized that now it's time to do something more with every knowledge and wisdom I've gained through the years. And working in the corporate world, there are specific rules. I mean, you need to follow certain organizational structures. You're part of a bigger system. During that period, as I said, I learned a lot of things, but now it's time to apply that on my own. And also the need, because I saw that the digital space especially was underserved with quality accounting services. And this is some sort of ironic, because nowadays there are a lot of bookkeepers, accountants who are providing the services on the market. But talking with business owners, especially with those which are starting now, they're struggling to find a reliable support. So that was first thing. And second thing, to be honest, my wish for freedom. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be the one who is making the decisions and to see all of the good things and bad things that happen when you decide something. So that inspired me to go into the journey. And lastly, when I go back really, really early in my childhood, and that's something that I recalled nowadays when I was thinking about this, I really early understood how numbers are important for, especially for small business owners. Because I had a friend of mine who was growing with a single mom, and her mom was having a shop, and she was such sort of personality. I don't care about money. I am not that type of a person. But not caring about the money led her to a bankruptcy, and she wasn't able to pay my friend's education. So small business owners are people who are, how to say, a backbone of each community. They're people who are feeding their families. So that was my initial drive to help those small business owners make their journey much more easier, to not be afraid of the money, to learn how to use that powerful tool called money to transform their lives. So that was some sort of inspiration.
Yeah, no, very true. So many business owners, I mean, you like you said, they are the backbone of society, and a lot of them think that, oh, I don't care, but that doesn't make the problem go away, right? You need to address what's not working and fix it. Absolutely.
Yes.
Anastasia, I know you work closely with businesses both across the US and Europe. What are some of the biggest financial challenges that you see with small to mid-sized companies, as they try to grow and as they try to scale?
Yes, my experience is quite unique because I have how to say opportunity to see US world and European world on the other side. And no matter where you are on this globe, on this earth, businesses are facing with the same challenges. It depends only on what stage you are into your business, whether you're a startup, you're a more mature phase, and so on. But one of the most common challenges that I've realized with small businesses first is the fact that we were talking before. Leave the numbers for later. Okay, fine. At the very beginning of your business, you need, as an owner, you need to focus on other things. You need to make sure that you have a product market fit. You need to do your sales, to gain more customers, earn revenue, and so on. And that's absolutely fine. But leaving the numbers for late doesn't mean that you need to forget about them, because that means you can go easily into a bankruptcy if you don't pay attention to that. Yeah. Second thing that I've seen is that many of the businesses are overspending on marketing expenses without a clear understanding of the return of investment. And this is a really interesting trap, because nowadays everyone wants to go public. We live in a global world. We need to do advertising, marketing for our services, and that's completely fine. But in order to make a good campaign, you need to think about whether this campaign gives me a return of investment, or I'm just spending my money. And this is something I see really, really often, especially in the very beginning of the business. Next thing is hiring people when you don't need to. And it's a really interesting situation, because I did that. Me personally, I did that at the very beginning when I opened my first company. I thought, okay, now I'm earning some money. Now it's time to free up my schedule, which is good, not to be understood wrongly. But if you want to hire someone, again, as with marketing and with every single other expense you're giving, you need to think about whether this expense is giving you some return and what is the goal that you want to achieve, or whether hiring people is aligned with your strategic goals at that point of the business. Because, as I said, hiring people is important, but maybe not in the very beginning of the early stage of the business. Later on, when you build systems, when your company is ready to support the new hires. Because if you do that before, believe me, you will just spend your money and nothing will be achieved. And lastly, mistake that the business owners are doing are overlooking their cash flow. So I had a situation where most of the people are saying, okay, I have X amount of money of my bank account. That means I'm earning money. No, that means that you have a certain balance on your bank account, but that doesn't mean that for 2 days from now you're able to pay your liabilities and everything that is coming on. So overlooking the cash flow is really important. And I want to share a real story with you now. I had a SaaS company. They were bootstrapped and they got $1 million for their company. And they had a plan. They didn't have a plan, but they have idea to develop their program within 6 months. But what happened? Without clear forecast, without clear cash flow, what is going on, how you are going to use the money, they burned the money very quickly and they came into a situation, now we need another funding. Yes, you need, but there is no investors that they will fund your business now because you're showing that you're not taking care about the money. You don't know where you're driving. So um, cash flow and forecasting is something that needs to be taken very, very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great points. And I think all of those stem from the lack of understanding of your financials, right? Whether that be hiring people when you don't need to, whether that be spending mindlessly on marketing, whether that be cash flow, looking over it, right? It all stems from not understanding your financials. And I'd love to share a personal story as well. I come from a line of CPAs and accountants and whatnot. And one of my relatives, he's a firm owner. He saw a billboard and he wanted to put up a billboard for his firm. And he spent, I think, $8,000 to $10,000 on a billboard with no idea with what the ROI was, no idea with what it would get him, right? And it ended up being very bad and he didn't make a lot of money from it. He got no traction, right? So things like that, for example. Or a lot of people, they'll just spend a lot of money on Facebook ads or certain marketing with no idea of how much is this going to get me? How much revenue am I going to make from this? Am I ever going to see the money coming back from this? And so great points that it all starts with understanding your financials. And I think a lot of firm owners kind of skip over that, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's correct. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be spending.
Totally.
You should spend because that's if you don't spend, you won't get back. That's money or energy and a circle that need to be spent to get return.
For sure.
But do it smartly.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, you have to, at some point, every company has to spend on marketing and hiring people, but you have to know when to be able to make those good decisions, right? You don't want to make a decision with not understanding your financial data. You have someone who explains all the data to you, you understand it, and then you're able to make a good decision based off that. So,
Absolutely,
Anastasia,
yes.
I'm sure you know this. A lot of businesses, they tend to only focus on their numbers when it comes to tax season, right? And I know you guys want to keep your clients tax ready all year and kind of understanding their financials all year. And so, why would you say that that's so important? And what would you say to business owners who maybe think that they don't need to care about any of that until tax time comes?
Yeah, that's really, really great question. Um, because it's important first because you shouldn't be, as I said, you shouldn't be leaving the things for the last minute. And why is that? There is a reason. If you are leaving your books until the year end comes or tax season comes, there are a lot of missed opportunities, missed tax deductions, missed things that you are not aware that you're missing, which is very, very important. So having your books clear and ready all over the year gives you two benefits. First, you as a business owner know your numbers and know where you're going,
Yeah.
whether you're achieving your goals, whether your KPIs are met. So it's a good for the sanity of the business. And second thing, you're paying lower expenses on at the end for either for taxes or for your CPA bill, simply because the CPA will have ready to use books. They shouldn't be doing 1 year backlog. They will have books that are ready, so they will charge you for what you need to pay, not because you were forgotten to do something or you have a mess in your books and so on. So clear books are important for you as a business owner to know what you're doing. And second, it saves you time and money.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really important.
Absolutely. Yeah. Once you have your books in order, you can make good decisions. So I have a question for you, Anastasia. Let's say everything is organized, right, and clear, and everything is broken down properly. A lot of small business owners are great at what they do, right? But not a lot of them have a great understanding of the financials and what all of it means. So how do you and your team kind of break that down and translate to them so that they're able to understand, because you guys are the experts in the financials, but maybe some of the clients aren't. So how do you break that down for them?
Yes. So our name, Books at Ease, comes from that vision.
Hmm.
Simplicity over the numbers. We want and we believe in that every business owner should understand their numbers, and the numbers shouldn't be complicated. They should be easy to understand and follow. And what we are doing, we're sitting together with our clients and we're translating the numbers into understandable actions, because financial reports are telling the story where you are at the moment and where you want to go. So I'm not the person, and my team as well, that we're talking with financial words only. I want you as a business owner to understand what your, because many of them are not making difference between revenue and profit. Everything is the same for them, but revenue is something and profit is what lives in your pocket. So we want to first of all, to break down all that complicated financial terminology into something that is easy to understand and easy to follow. Second thing, we are translating the numbers, what they mean. Or with other words, I'm not saying you have, I don't know, $50,000 in account receivable. I'm telling to them, you have a problem to collect your money. You don't have enough money to support your cash flow. You won't be able, let's say, in a month to pay your expenses. You won't be able to pay, I don't know, rent or fuel for your car, or maybe take some money to go on vacation. So I use a simple language so you as a business owner to understand what that means for your business.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's how we're simplifying the things.
Absolutely. I love that approach, actually helping them understand, right? So many old school companies will just throw the financials on a small business and expect them to know what it means, right? So I like that you guys are actually translating it for them and letting them understand so that they can make good decisions, right? So, Anastasia, do you have a favorite success story, from a client that you guys gave them financial clarity and it maybe, helped them avoid a mistake or improve performance?
Yes, yes. We had actually had a story with a digital marketing agency who wanted to hire people. So hiring people is really interesting topic for me, because from one side, hiring people is very important. And it's important because people are the biggest asset of the company. So if you make mistake with people, it can be really costly. So we'd sit down with the owner and he told me, okay, I want to hire 3 SDRs. Now, what do you think about that? I think I'm making enough money to do this. And I said, okay, fine. We will see that, whether you're making money or not. Let's see what is your strategic goal in the next 3 months. So what do you want to achieve? To see whether you're needed maybe one SDR will complete the work, or two more, maybe you're right, you need three. When we broke down all those things, we realized that, yeah, he don't need three SDRs. He did one and a half, and one was full-time employee, second was a contract basis employee, and we saved up $20,000, which is awesome because those $20,000 can be used in something else at this point. Later on, as you grow, of course, you can hire as much as you want. But as I'm saying all the time, please think about whether this spending is aligned with your top three most important strategic goals at this point, not in 10 years after this. Now, in 6 months, 1 year, because of course you need to have a plan for 5 years, 10 years, great if you can do that. But let's focus now on 6 months at least to see what is going on, because the businesses, especially when they're at the very beginning, are evolving very fast. So what is reality today maybe won't be a reality 6 months after this.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, absolutely. Not planning 20 years down the line, putting in plans and executing on them, and then can make a new plan and execute on that, right? That's the best way, instead of having a concrete plan that who knows what it's going to deviate from, right?
Yes, yes.
Anastasia, in this world right now, I'm sure you know there's all the buzz and all the hype around AI and automation and all these new technologies. How do you see that manifesting in your, do you see it manifesting in your clients and how you guys are serving them, or in the market as a whole? What are your predictions and your thoughts on that?
AI is something very good, I think, that happened to the world. And some of my fellow colleagues of the profession are scared that AI is going to replace them, but I don't believe that at all. So AI is something that is revolutionary, something like when the first computer was invented, when internet was invented. That doesn't mean that that replaced people's jobs. Yes, in certain points, yes, but it made people to, how to say, to shift themselves and to take another path, another journey. So AI is the same story. It helped us to automate a lot of routine tasks that we were doing before, now we shouldn't be doing. For example, if I need to write, I don't know, a post that was back in, let's say, 5 years ago, I needed to spend maybe 2 hours thinking, typing, rewriting. Now it's much more easier because it helps me to craft the idea. It doesn't mean that ChatGPT or AI should write your posts, but
Exactly.
it can save your time. Or you can automate a lot of tasks that you were previously manually doing. But what lasts at the end is the value that you're creating.
Yeah.
So no AI will replace your value as a business owner that you're giving to your clients. No AI will replace the human touch because
Yeah.
people don't connect with your logo, with your branding, or with the, I don't know, fluffy post that you are writing and so on. They are
Yeah.
connecting with you, with your energy, with what you're bringing on the table. So I think that AI will help us a lot, but it will give us another direction, another evolution, if I can say, in the process, but no replacement at all.
I could not have said that better myself. And actually, the job that I do in my business is we help accountants, firm owners, CPAs, bookkeepers implement automation and AI into their business. And the biggest question we get is this going to make me obsolete? Am I going to go out of business? And the answer, like you said, is no. We will pivot and use it as a tool, right? The same thing with the internet, the same thing with every technology, is there's a scare and a fear that this is going to get rid of the industry, and it's not. Accounting is going nowhere, right? In a war, in a pandemic, in any sort of calamity, accounting is going to stay because that's recession proof, right? So to use it as a tool to help you automate certain things, keeping the human value is always going to be there. You know, no one is ever going to buy from an AI. No one wants to have their financials translated by an AI. They want to speak face to face with someone and have someone actually explain their situation, right? So I could not have said that better myself. You literally read my mind right there.
Yes,
Absolutely.
there will be a difference between people who learn very early how to use AI and people who don't. And those people who won't learn how to use AI, yes, they should be scared because as I said, the landscape is evolving very quickly. So you need to adjust, to adapt to the changes. Those who learn, and you, as you said, helping businesses to implement AI into their practices, in my opinion, are safe and good to go.
Exactly. That's what we say is people are going nowhere, but people who use AI will replace the ones that don't. The same way that the firms and the businesses who use the internet replace the ones that refuse to, right?
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
Anastasia, where are you taking Books at Ease? What's your vision for it, 3 to 5 years down the line? Are you guys in growth mode? Are you looking to kind of maintain what you have? What are your plans for the business?
Yes, we are absolutely in a growth mode. So 5 years from now, first thing that I envision is more than a 1,000 world-class accountants community who will be giving the world-class service. So that's what I'm trying to achieve with my academy, which is closely aligned with Book Cities. Second, to find out who will be my ideal customer persona, because no matter, I know that at this point, but I think that as we're evolving and as the business will grow and earn more money and so on, I would love to have some ideal customers that I'm going to focus more and give them more value. Um, to build a long-term relationships, because I believe in what we are working at the moment now is building a long-term relationships. I believe that connection and the relationship with money is very closely tied to the survival thing, and people are often scared about that. So I want to make that relationship to work and to have clients who will be with us on a long way. So that's some sort, and of course to improve my sales strategy, because as I said, we are now in the growing mode and we need to work on that for sure.
Yeah. Amazing goals, and I have no doubt that you guys will hit that. Anna, let's say someone is in the audience and they are wanting to pursue and build their own firm, but they have no idea what to do. They're overwhelmed. There's so many people that say, don't start a business, it's too risky, everything like that. What is your one piece of advice to them, and what would you say to that?
Yeah, this is really, really, really good question and really deep, to be honest. So one of my mentors, when I was working with them, told me, and I will do that the same for the aspiring entrepreneurs. You need first to know your why you want to open a business, why you want to enter into the entrepreneurial journey, because the journey is not easy at all. You need to be aware that on this path, you will need to make a lot of sacrifices. Of course, you will have a lot of rewards, but you need to make sure that why I want to do this, and knowing your why, which is closely aligned with your core values, then you will be able to start a business and build it on a solid ground. Otherwise, if you're starting your business because it's fancy, because people want to do that, now it's attractive, don't do that. Don't do that because, as I said, it will interrupt your personal life. You will need to work sometimes for the weekends, long hours, especially at the very beginning when you're building the base. So knowing your why is number one thing that each business owner should ask himself or herself before starting the business.
Yeah, actually wanting to do it. Like you said, it's so glamorized now to start
Yes,
a business, and everyone thinks it's so easy, but every single business owner that I bring on and that I speak with outside of the podcast, they all tell me that there's years and years of sacrifice, of struggle, working when you're seeing no results. And so delayed gratification, working now so that hopefully it pays off. Great advice, Anastasia. It was
yes.
lovely having you on today, Anastasia. Very valuable insights. For someone in the audience who wants to reach out to you or learn more about your business, what's the best place to find you?
Yes, they can visit our website, which is www.booksatease.com. They can follow me on LinkedIn, on Instagram. It's the same name, Anastasia Ristovska. So I share there a lot of contents, video, and of course, reach out to me for whatever help you need. I'm also offering free consultations for the people, especially for those who are starting at the very beginning and don't know where to go. So, yeah, that's the way where you can find me.
Perfect. For anyone who's listening who is struggling and has no idea what they're doing and wants to start, please reach out to Anastasia. And I'll link everything in the show notes so that they could reach out to you as well. Thank you, Anastasia, for joining me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Noah. It was a really great pleasure talking to you. Kudos to you. You're a great host and you make it so easy and warm and conversational. So thank you for doing that. It was my pleasure being a guest here and hope to share more stories in the future and wish you best of luck with your podcast.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anastasia. That means a lot. Very sweet. We'll catch you guys in the next one.